Devarim, we're in the second reading, second Aliyah, chapter 112. Yes. Second Aliyah. Eicha, how? Esa labadi, how can I bear you alone? Taichachem, your burden, and your strife, verivchem. Well, actually, no. So tircha is your bear the trouble. Maasechem is your uplifting, meaning a burden, right? How can I uplift the burden? In other words, verivchem and your strife. Ooh la la. Okay, I don't know. Eicha es alabadi. How can I carry you alone? If you were to say that I should bear the burden, meaning judging you by myself, the kabel schar, in order that I should receive reward, lo yuchal, I will still not be able to. This is what I said to you. I'm not telling this on my own. But this is coming from the mouth of Hashem. Now there's, to carry the burden, every person has the obligation to carry the burden, right? You have the and I would have, but God didn't let me carry the burden. God didn't let me carry the burden, right? Okay. Why didn't God let him carry the burden? It was a shared burden, in other words. Okay. Next Rashi in 12, Tarchachem, your trouble, the trouble. Melamed, this teaches us that the Israelites were troublesome. If one would see his adversary winning in a case, he would say, I have witnesses to bring. I have proofs that I could bring. I'm adding judges to you. In other words, in certain circumstances, when it comes to litigation of money, you could ask to add more judges. There's minimum 3 judges, but you could ask for more judges. That's what he's saying over here, that I'm adding judges to you. Okay. No, in certain cases. Masechem, and your burden, Malamed, this teaches Shahayu, Epikorsim, that there were heretics amongst the Jews. Hikti Moshe, let's say, Moshe would leave early to judge the people. Amr, and they said, Ma Rab and Amram, let's say, what did the son of Amram see that he would leave? Shemei and Shafi B'Seich Beisai. Maybe things are not calm in the house. And that's why, there's trouble in the house. That's why he's leaving early. Right? Echad, let's say, and if he left late, Amr, they would say, Maro ben Amram, says, why did the son of Amram not leave on time? Matem Svarim, what do you think? It says, you think I'm sitting and devising plans against you? And thinking thoughts against you? Right? Not doing that. Rivchem, your quarrels and strife, Malamed, that they were difficult people, contentious people. Verse 13. Yeah, we're good? Havilachem, prepare for yourselves, anashim, men, chachamim, that are wise, and avonim, and understanding, v'yaduim, and that they're known, l'shiftechem, to their tribes, v'asimim v'rashechem, and I will place them as heads over you. Okay. It's interesting that this whole thing comes from, who did this come from? Do you recall? From Yisro. Yisro is the one that came to him and said, this is not good what you're doing, right? That you are judging the people from day to night. That's Yisro. Exactly.
Okay,
right? So it's just interesting that, and what he's attributing it to is to God that's telling him, because Yisro, God was in agreement with Yisro. Just an interesting idea. Okay. So Rashi in 13. You have the booklets. You can look in the booklets. Take a booklet if you like. Anashim, men. Kisala daicha nashim. Would you enter? Why? Well, why does it say no? But you would think that the judges would be women. Matam anash. Why does it say men? Tzadiki means Yisufim, the righteous men. That's what it means. No, in other words, the word anashim means men. But the law we know already is men. So what does it mean? To exclude women? Why is it saying men? It means righteous men. Even though the word doesn't mean explicitly righteous men, it just means men. But in the context, Rashi is saying, right, he's saying wise, understanding, those are all descriptions. So just to say men is not a description of any sorts, right? So Rashi is saying, no, it is a description. Righteous men.
Can't just be three men. Have to be special.
Now we're talking about individuals, right?
Yes, sir.
And Navainim, Chacham and Navainim, wise and understanding. What does it mean? Understanding. They understand. They can derive one thing from another. As Rabbi Yosi, and this was asked Rabbi Yosi when he said, "Ma, what's the difference between the wise and understanding?" So Chacham a wise one is like a rich money changer. When they bring him dinners to see, in other words, he's a money exchanger, right? When they bring him the monies to see, to take a look at it and to make to examine it. He examines. When they don't bring him money to examine, Yeshiv, so he sits and he bides his time. But an understanding person is like an enterprising money changer. Mostly, right, when they bring him money to examine, he examines. But when they don't bring him money, he goes out to do the business on his own. In other words, he doesn't wait for business to come. He goes out for business to find the business. Right? That's a understanding person versus a wise person. Right? They're known to their tribes. Next Rashi. That they are familiar to you. For if one comes before me, he's wrapped up in his cloak. I don't know who this person is, from which tribe he is. If he's a suitable individual to be a judge, but you are familiar with him because you raise this individual. That's why it says that they're known to their tribes, right? Not exactly sure what Rashi means with that. I don't think it means that they're choosing. It's just that, I guess they'll be accepting. The heads. These are the heads of dignitaries over you. That you should treat them with respect and awe. Dasimem, and I shall appoint them. Chaser Yud. This is missing a letter Yud. Limed, why is it missing a Yud? To teach us something. That the sins of the Jewish people, that they are hanging over the heads of the judges. So the judges should protest and to direct them to the straight path. In other words, it shouldn't be that people come, with litigation. It shouldn't be that people come with litigation, right? In other words, the judges should be such judges that the people won't come for litigation, that they set them on the straight, right? And that's why it says the asimem. Well, you could pronounce the words without the vowels. The ashamem, I make them guilty. Who's guilty? The judges are guilty. In other words, imagine that two litigants are coming to court, right? And who's at fault? The Torah is telling us the judges, because if the judges would be proper, what have they done? They would have put people on the straight and narrow in such a way that they wouldn't come to the court. They would have figured it out between them. That's exactly the point. Exactly the point. Yeah. Which ties in with last night's class for those who were lucky to be in last night's class.
Holy.
Tanu, I see, and you answered me, V'taimu, when you said, Taiva davar, this is a good thing, Asher divartela, says that you've spoken to do. Rashi in 14, Tanu, I see, you answered me, Chalatitem is a davar, you decided the matter, laha naschem, to your benefit, without considering that you were being disrespectful, but for your benefit. You should have responded, Rabbeinu Moshe, I teach Moshe, who's it better to learn from? From you. But let me tell me, and not, asking the question, who's it better to learn from you or from your student? Isn't it better to learn from you? Because you have suffered over the teachings of the Torah. But I'm aware of your thoughts. You were saying to yourselves, now we'll have many judges that will be appointed over us. And if we don't, and if there'll be a judge who does not show favoritism to us, right? We'll bring him a gift. And he will show us favor. The Jews were happy with this, but they were happy for their own benefit because now they felt that they could bribe the judge. Moshe, they knew they couldn't bribe, but the judge are going to bribe.
Moshe is saying it as words of reproof.
Yes, words of reproof, exactly. Lasa is to do Ma'isa Misatzel. Had I been lax in appointing judges, you would have said, do it quickly. I did it quickly. Go ahead.
Sounds like they're pretty corrupt back then. What chance do we have?
Good question.
We're still in the midst of fixing. We're still in the midst of fixing.
Exactly. By the way, it doesn't mean this everybody's like this. It means there are people like this.
Yeah.
That's the point. Not saying that everybody was like that. 15. And I took the heads of your tribes, Anashim Chacham. Sorry, 1 second. I took the heads of your tribes, Anashim, men, Chachamim v'yodim, wise and understanding, and I placed them as heads over you. Sorry, alafim. So now he goes into the details. They were leaders of 1,000, mayas, leaders of 100, chamishim, leaders of 50, asaras, and leaders of tens. Shaitrim, and also officers, the shiftechem, to your tribes. Rashi, yeah? We're good, 15. And I took the heads of your tribes, Mishachtim bidvarim. I persuaded them. In other words, it's not something that anybody wants to do, is to be a judge, to be a leader, right? So, but I had to take them by persuasion. Ashreichem, I said to them, fortunate are you. Ami basam manes. Who are you appointed over? Al bnei Avraham Yitzchak and Yaakov, over the sons of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Al bnei Adam shenikra achim v'reim, over the people who are called brothers and friends to God. Chelik menachla, who have a portion and inheritance in God. B'chol lashon chiba, and all expressions of endearment. After being difficult. So Jews are difficult, but you got to know that they are God's holy people.
Yeah.
He's not. He's telling the truth. So he's not schmoozing.
You're going to be, we're appointing the judges over the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Yitzchak and Yaakov.
Yeah, know how precious they are.
It's so precious. Who wants to be a judge over them?
Anashim chacham v'yadim, wise and well known, and known aval navonim, but men who are understanding leimatzasi. If you notice in the verse, in the previous verse it said understanding, but now it doesn't say understanding. Those that were known. Why? Because he could not find those who were understanding. This is one of the 7 traits. Shama Yisrael Moshe, that Yisrael told to Moshe when he should look for judges. But he only found 3 of the traits: Anashim Tzadikim, righteous men; Chachamim, who are wise; Yeduim, and they were well known. Interesting. And they are. Their heads over you. You should treat them with respect. Heads first in purchasing, and first in selling. Their heads in discussion of Nichnas achrin, he enters last. Yetzerisha and leaves first. Now those are the ways they are respected. Sari alafim, leaders of thousands. Echam emuna elef means one who is appointed over 1,000 people. Echam meas, one who is appointed over 100. Emuna meyam. Eshaitrim, and officers. Menisi aleichem. I've appointed over you. L'shivtechem, for your tribes. Elak hakoivsim, these who are who bind up people. And strike them and give them lashes according to the words of the judges. Right? And others, they're the police. It's police force. Yeah, literally. 16. And I commanded the judges, basically at that time, Lamor saying, Shemaya ben Achechem, hear the disputes between your brothers, Vishefadatem, and you shall judge tzedek righteously. Ben ish ben ochi, between a man and his brother, or ben geray and his litigant. Rashi in 16. And I commanded the judges, I said to them, be patient in judgment. If a case comes before it, 1, 2, 3 times, right? I'll tell you, don't say, that this case has already come before me. Many times. But you should be deliberate in the judgment. Right? Don't pass judgment based on previous engagements that you've had in a similar case. At that time, when I appointed them, I said to them, now is not like it's in the past. In the past, you're under your own authority. Now, you are subject to the public. Shamaya, listen. That's in present tense. In Old French, adult. Kamai v'zachar ishamar. Obeying Geray, between a disputant, a litigant. Zeh baldinoi, this is the litigant. Sha'eger olav dvarim, who against whom he collects words, arguments to present in court. Davar acher, alternative explanation of what this word means. Ben Geray means af al iske dira even over issues of dwelling, bein chalukas achim, between the division that there is of brothers, between brothers who divide an estate and inheritance, in other words, even when brothers are dividing between an oven and a stove, which is smaller than an oven. Even on small things, you're going to make the judgment. Lo yisakiru panim, do not show favor. The mishpat in judgment, rather like a small person, a big person. Tishma'un, you shall listen. Lo yisakiru mipnei ish, don't fear any individual. Kiba mishpat lelakimhu, because this is a judgment that is to God. And it's something that is difficult for you. Takrivan, bring it to me, and I will hear the case. Rashi in 17. Don't show favoritism in the judgment. This refers to one who's in charge of installing the judges. That he should not say to himself, Ish no, such a person is handsome, or Gibor, or he's mighty, or Shivena Dayan, therefore let me make him a judge. Or Ish such a person is, this person is my relative. Let me make him a judge in the city. When the way in the Baki B'din, and he's not an expert in the law. So what will come out? He will rule against someone who's innocent. And he will show favor. He'll be in favor of someone who's actually culpable in the law. So if this will happen, I will consider one who appointed the unqualified judge as if he showed favoritism in judgment. So this is not talking about the judge, right? This is talking about the person who appoints judges. That's what it's talking about. Very interesting. Got it? Okay. Small and great alike shall you hear. It should be dear to you. A judgment that is over a small amount of it, like a pruta, it should be dear to you, the judgment. Mana, equally to something that's worth 100 mana. It's 1,000 times more. Because if it comes to you, a small amount in a litigation, don't put it last, right? Because it's not significant money, so therefore you're going to put it last. Don't do that. Alternative explanation what these words mean. Small and great alike you shall hear. Should be understood. That you should not say that this is a poor person, and his fellow litigant is a rich person. And the rich guy is actually obligated to support this guy. So you know what? I will rule in favor for the poor guy, right? What will come out from this? This for the poor guy is going to get a livelihood without restoring to thievery in a respectable manner, right? Don't do that, right? In other words, alternatively, the verse means that you should not say to yourself, how could I blemish the honor of this rich guy? Ishvil dinar for a small amount of a dinar. As a kinu achshav, I will rule in his favor. But when he goes out, I'm going to tell him, give him that money because you are obligated to him. I only judge in your favor that I don't want to make you an embarrassment for such a small amount.
The Torah doesn't hold from social justice.
Right.
Today justice is called social justice.
Right.
Real justice, it's not social justice.
Well, in a judgment, in judgment, it might be different. To be fair to what we are learning here, we're talking about in court of justice.
Right.
We're not talking about. One second. Let me finish. We're not talking about on how you fashion laws, right? In other words, to give more opportunity or something like that. That you shouldn't take from here as an indication. That would be a different, because we do that through tzedakah, by the way.
Okay, here
We
he's
create
saying-
equity.
You're saying justice is supposed to be blind.
Yeah,
not social.
exactly.
It doesn't favor one person.
In
over
ju-
another.
in a
It doesn't
court, in a court.
establish whether it's
Yeah.
rich or poor.
Okay.
And that's-
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I don't have time to. I've got to finish. I'm going to finish over here. Loisa gura mipnei ish, and we should not fear in the face of a man. Loisa gura loisi. Don't fear. Davar acher. Alternatively, loisa gura loisi hazeh davarecha. Do not take in your words mipnei ish in the face of a man. Lashon ogur b'kayit means to gather in. It's a concept of don't take in someone else's words, because of fear. You fear, so therefore you are now hearing their words a little more seriously. Don't do that. Because the judgment is unto God. That which you take from this one, unjustly, you force me to return it to him. Nimsa, it comes out that you perverted the judgment against me. Because now I have to bring back justice. Don't do that. You shall bring it to me. Moshe said that a difficult judgment, you can bring it to me. Aldavar said, for this matter, the law applying to the daughters of Slavchad departed from him. Similarly, Shmuel said to Shaul, Anechi Hareya, I am a seer of Allah Kadosh Baruch Hu, Chayecha, really? Shani Maidiacha, I will let you know, Sheinat Harei, that you do not see. When they let Hashem know that he's not a seer. When he came to anoint David, Yaris Eliyav, and Shmuel saw Eliyav, and he said, Ach neged Hashem Mishichai. Certainly he is anointed. One stands before Hashem. Hashem said to him, Lo yamarta, but did you not say Anecha Arei, that I'm the seer? Al Tavid El Marehu, do not look at his Eliab's appearance and his height and stature, for I have rejected him. Anyways, he took what he's saying over here that Moshe took upon himself, like that. I could take care of the big stuff. So God said, because of that, you forgot something. There was a lack of humility in that moment. I commanded you at that time, and all the things that you should do. Rashi 18. All these things that you should do. These are the 10 things. That there's a difference in judicial procedure between monetary cases and din and nefashis and capital cases. 10 different things. Okay. Nisa mecharev. Okay, we finished with that. And we journeyed from Chayrev, from Mount Sinai, right? V'neilech, and we went el hamidbar, es hamidbar, kol hamidbar, agadol. We went through the entire large desert. Haneira, that's a awesome one. Ahu. Asher isam, that you have seen derech hara Meiri, the way of the mountain of the Amorites. Kashetziv Hashem Elokeinu, as Hashem our God has commanded. Oisanu us. The Navayad Kadesh Barnea, and we came to Kadesh Barnea. The Midbar Agalav and Neira Sha'ayu Boy Nechashim Keires VaAkrabim Shaites. So why is it a fearful desert? Because it was full of serpents that are thick as beams and scorpions that are as big as arrows, right? The Emor Aleichem, and I said to you, that you have come to the mountain of the Amorites, that Hashem our God is giving to us. And see, that Hashem our God, your God has given before you. It's the land. Alei, go up, reish, and possess it. Kasher diber Hashem, as Hashem has spoken, the God of your fathers, leich, lach, to you, al tira, val techas. Do not be fearful, val techas, and do not be dismayed. In other words, yeah.
Back to black.
Amazing. You got to finish.